Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the course of Advanced Academic Reading. Today we are going to discuss the topic of report writing. By the end of this lecture, you will be able to describe definition of report, purpose of report, principles or characteristics of report, importance of report. Definition of report. The word report is derived from Latin re meaning back and porto meaning to carry. In English, the word is used both as verb and noun. It means to give an account of, often at regular intervals, give information about something seen or done, etc., to recount. To give a formal statement or official account of, announce formally the results of, to present or return with the conclusions reached or recommendations made. A formal or official presentation of facts or of some proceedings and investigations. A spoken or written account of something heard, seen or done, studied, especially one that is published. Here are some definitions given by some experts. According to C.A. Brown, a report is a communication from someone who has some information to someone who wants someone to use that information. According to Raymond V.A. Lessiker, a business report is an orderly, objective communication of factual information that serves some business purpose. A good report must be an orderly arrangement of some factual information that is objective in nature and serves some purpose. Report is an administrative necessity. They are written for a specific readership and probably intended to be kept as a record. Characteristics of a report. Precision. In a good report, the report writer is very clear about the exact and definite purpose of writing the report. Precision gives a kind of unity to report and make it a valuable document. Second characteristics of a report is accuracy of facts. Information contained in a report must be based on accurate facts, since decisions are taken on the basis of report information. Any inaccurate information or statistics will lead to wrong decision. It will hamper to achieve the organizational goal. Relevance. The facts presented in a report should not only be accurate but also be relevant. Irrelevant facts make a report confusing and likely to be misleading to make proper decisions. Reader orientation. While drafting any report, it is necessary to keep in mind about the person who is going to read it. That's why a good report is always reader oriented. Reader's knowledge and level of understanding should be considered by the writer of a report. A report written for experts is different from what is written for. Objectivity of recommendations. Recommendations on report usually make effect on the reader's mind. So, if recommendations are made at the end of a report, they must be impartial and objective. They should come as a logical conclusion for investigation and analysis. Simple language. This is just another essential feature of a good report. A good report is written in a simple language, avoiding vague and unclear words. The language of the report should not be influenced by the writer's emotion or goal. The message of a good report should be self-explanatory. Grammatical accuracy. A good report is free from errors. Any faulty construction of a sentence may make its meaning different to the reader's mind, and sometimes it may become confusing or ambiguous for the readers. They may not be able to understand the message, what is intended by the writer. Clarity. Clarity depends on proper arrangement of facts. A good report is absolutely clear. Reporter should make his purpose clear, define his sources, state his findings, and finally make necessary recommendations. To be an effective communication through report, a report must be clear to understand for making communication success. Conciseness. A good report should be concise, but it does not mean that a report can never be long. Rather, it means that a good report or a business report is one that transmits maximum information with minimum words. It avoids unnecessary detail and includes everything which is significant and necessary to present proper information. Logical sequence. The points in a report shall be arranged with a logical sequence, step by step, and not in a haphazard manner. A planning is necessary before a report is prepared. All of the parts, they should be logically connected to each other. Title of the page should lead to introduction, and then introduction lead to methodology, that must lead to findings, and then acts as a permanent record. A report serves as a permanent record relating to a certain business matter. It is useful for future reference and guidance. Time-consuming and costly activity. Report writing is a time-consuming, lengthy, and costly activity, as it involves collection of facts, drawing conclusions, and making recommendations. Readability. The keynote of a report is readability. The style of presentation and the diction shall be such that the readers find it attractive and he is compelled to read the report from the beginning to the end. Then only a report serves its purpose. A report on the same subject matter can be written differently for different classes of readers. As I discussed in the previous slide, that report written for laymen will be different from the report that is prepared for experts. Approach. There are two types of approaches: personal and impersonal. Personal. When a report is written based on personal inquiry or observations, the approach shall be personal and the sentences shall be in the first person and indirect speech. Impersonal approach. When a report is prepared as a source of information and when it is merely factual, the approach shall be impersonal and the sentences shall be in the third person and in indirect speech. Attractive presentation. Presentation of a report is also a factor which should be considered for a good report. A good report provides a catchy and a smart look and creates attention of the reader. Structure, content, language, typing, and presentation style of a good report should be attractive to make a clear impression in the mind of its reader. Importance of report writing. Here are some points that tells us what is the significance of report writing. First one is report as a means of internal communication. A report acts as an effective means of communication within the organization. It provides feedback to employees. It is prepared for the information and guidance of others connected with the matter. A report facilitates decision making and planning. Report provides reliable data which can be used in the planning and decision making process. It acts as a treasure house of reliable information for long-term planning, and report discloses unknown information. Reports provide information which may not be known previously. The committee members collect data, draw conclusions, and provide information which will be new to all concerned parties. Even new business opportunities are visible through unknown information available in the reports. Report gives information to employees. Reports are available to managers and departments for internal use. They are widely used by the departments for guidance. Reports help them to know what to do next and what should be avoided, what can be beneficial for them and what cannot be beneficial for them for the business purposes. Reports provide a feedback to employees and are useful for their self. Types of report. Types of report. Formal, informal reports. The informal report functions to inform, analyze, and recommend. It usually takes the form of a memo, letter, or a very short international document like a monthly financial report, monthly activities report, research and development report, etc. This report differs from the former report in length and formality. Length of the report may vary depending upon its purpose and the context of the topic. Informal reports are written according to organization style and rules, but usually does not include the preliminary and supplemental material. Means letter of transmittal and bibliography and appendices are not the essential part of informal reports. The informal report is usually more controversial in tone and typically deals with everyday problems and issues addressed to a narrow readership. Types of informal reports: field trip reports, progress and status reports, periodic reports, feasibility reports, troubleshooting reports, financial reports, review. Field trip reports, frequently used in business and industry to record the result of on-site inspections. Scope and significance will determine whether they take the form of an informal or formal report. Field trip reports may contain information on observations on safety conditions, equipment damages, productions operations, even imply morale. They can address the entire range or focus on one or two aspects. Field trip reports. Components of field trip report: purpose of inspection, identity of site or facility, description of investigation, results, conclusions and recommendations. Field trip reports. A brief description of the purpose of investigation is necessary. A description of the investigation is crucial. The results of your inspection follows the investigative description. How the investigation took place. List and record your observations clearly, objectively and concretely. The conclusions and recommendations are purpose for writing this report. Progress reports give accounts of work that is currently being done and but is not yet completed. Communicate project problems, thus reducing the rippling effects those problems can have on scheduling, costs, and other operational factors. Enable you to check on yourself so that you can better estimate what remains to be done and what resources, especially time, you have to do it. Progress reports. Format for progress reports: summary overview of the whole project, work already completed, work currently underway, work remaining to be done, final recommendations. Status reports describe what is being accomplished in the present and with existing condition in general. Just another type of progress report. Emphasis is laid on the format for status reports. Summary overview of the whole project. Present conditions described in detail. Work completed and remaining. Final recommendation. Periodic reports. They allow management to keep track of ongoing operations on a periodic or regular basis, as periodic reports are prepared at regular intervals. Can be filed daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly, etc. May even take the form of an elaborate and often costly formal report. Can take almost any form depending on the project and the frequency of reports required. They are prepared in routine at regular. Feasibility reports. Decisions have to be made every day. An investigation to decide on the most appropriate decision is called feasibility study, and the reports that conveys the study is called feasibility report. Probably the most difficult type of report to write, because it requires you to make decisions on the basis of this report. Focus of feasibility reports should be the recommendations, as the decisions has to be made on the basis of the recommendations given in a feasibility reports. Components: introduction, proposed actions, conclusions, final recommendation. The introduction of a feasibility report should include background and purpose of the report, statement of the problem, extent of the study, scope of the study, criteria used in the study. Feasibility reports. The middle section should consist of a detailed discussion of the single action or several alternative actions under considerations. An effective feasibility report discusses all of the possible factors that might influence a decision on the best action. Your report should conclude with 1 or 2 paragraphs summarizing your conclusions and recommendations. Troubleshooting reports, used by technicians to convey information regarding the analysis and correction of problems found in industrial products. The purpose of troubleshooting reports is to analyze the problems, to locate the defect, to correct the defect. Components in troubleshooting reports: introduction, body, conclusion, final recommendations. Financial report. Types of report which is used to provide a detailed description of all the financial activities of some person, business, market, or an organization in the form of a statement is known as financial report. Review report. Review reports are used to present a review on the studied literature or subject matter. Such reports are used with an intent to make a detailed content more specific for the readers of your draft, so that they may not have to scan the details of a text. Generally, the audience for this is high-tech, but may be modified to be read by the low-tech audience if necessary. Formal reports. Formal reports can be intended for company distribution, but are more commonly intended for distribution outside the company. They are normally used to communicate with the people outside the company. This is not something like an inter-office communication. It is a distinct type of report because of its size and scope of undertaking, its importance, and its formal tone. Can be used for any reporting purpose as long as the size of the formal report is warranted. Formal reports have title pages and table of contents, have type of preface in the form of a cover memorandum or a letter of transmittal, depending on whether the letter is intended for inter-office distribution or for circulation outside the company. And this letter of transmittal is not the part of the informal report, as we discussed in the previous slides. Can have appendices or bibliographies, which are not the essential component of informal report. Types of formal report. They can be categorized as informational reports, analytical reports, recommendation reports. Informational reports. Informational reports present results so readers can understand a particular problem or situation. Informational reports might present information on the status of current research or of a project. Present an update of the operation in your division. Explain how your organization or division does something. Present the results of a questionnaire or research. Analytical reports. An analytical report is a type of a business report that uses qualitative and quantitative company data to analyze as well as evaluate a business strategy or process, while empowering employees to make data-driven decisions based on evidence and analysis. This type goes a step beyond presenting results. Analytical reports present results, analyze those results, and draw conclusions based on those results. These reports attempt to describe why and or how something happened and then to explain what it means. Like informational reports, analytical reports can be formal or informal. Explain the potential results of a particular course of action. Suggest which option, action, or procedure is the best. Recommendation reports. Recommendation report is a paper that compares two or more procedures or solutions and makes a recommendations about which is the best option. This type advocates a particular course of action. This usually presents the results and conclusions that support the recommendations. This type is identical to analytical report. For example, your analytical report suggests using treatment X is more efficient than treatments Y and Z. However, that doesn't mean that you will use treatment X as cost and other considerations might recommend treatment Y. What should we do about a problem? Should we or can we do something? Should we change the method or technology we use to do something? Difference between formal and informal report. In the next slides, we will discuss what are the main differences between formal and informal reports. Formal reports are often used in academic papers or to provide a lengthy overview of a major change or development within a business. Informal reports. Informal reports are used for shorter documents such as memos and newsletters. Formal reports are more detailed. They are written in detail as all of the components of the report are included in them. They start from the letter of transmittal and ends to the bibliography or appendices. In all of the parts, they are essential to provide an evidence for the information presented in a report. Informal reports, they are less detailed. They do not require all the components to be included in a report. Some of them, like letter of transmittal and bibliography and appendices, they might be missing from informal reports. Formal reports have a set structure, an introduction, body, and conclusion. Informal reports can be structured in any way, depending upon the topic of the report, depending upon the context, and depending upon the purpose for which the report is being prepared. Formal reports have a formal tone and use third-person narrative. Most informal reports use first or second-person narrative, although some informal reports use a professional tone. It is not required in many cases. Formal reports analyze a specific topic in great detail Informal reports are often very brief and only include the most relevant information. Formal reports also provide evidence to back up the information in the report. Since informal reports are brief, evidence to back up the information is not included in this type of report. The next 2 points, they are not found in informal reports, but they are the part of the formal reports. Formal reports usually include citation for the sources used to generate the report. Charts, graphs, and statistical information are also common components of formal report. Thank you. God bless you.